Hello audience, welcome back to East to West, and this is Nikki Lee filling in today for Jack Chow. We all know that life could be difficult, life could be simple. It just depends on how you look at your life. And I'm just very proud and flattered that I've met a great person, an amazing person who just published his first book that he spends almost 20 years writing it. And just a few weeks ago, he had a press conference and finally released his book. And today I'm very proud that I'm just sitting in front of him and I'm gonna talk about this great book again with him. And let's welcome Mr. Ken Hemming.
Thank you, Nikki. It's always my joy in life to be with you, to be
Aww.
with Jack, G&E TV, EDI.
Yes.
It's my honor.
Mr. Ken Hemming, welcome again to the show. I know this is gonna be like the 34th?
33.
The 33s, yeah, 33 times already,
Is that
right?
beautiful?
Yeah, at the EDI and G&E Studio.
My honor.
It's also our honor, and we really appreciate your participation and involvement, in doing the show with us.
Thank you.
So I know that just a few weeks ago, you released your first book. What is it called again?
Life is simple, 100 words to live by.
Life is
and
simple.
It's a true statement.
It is, and I was just very proud, and I was there witnessing you and doing speeches and all other comments that people have given to you. Yes. So how do you feel differently before and after your book got released?
I would say before I lived with anticipation, I lived with motivation, I lived with a commitment to finish the book. And then now that is actually, people are reading it, it is such a feeling of being reborn almost, okay? Because this is my baby. This is my second child.
This is your second child besides your daughter, right?
It's dedicated to my daughter, but this is my son, I guess, okay? Sorry, Lauren, but okay.
Don't get jealous, Lauren.
Yeah, but this is how I feel. And what I think is when I believe that people now are reading my syllables that I made into words, that I made into sentences, that I made into paragraphs, and are absorbing the message, what a joy and satisfaction in life.
Of course. And I was just, feeling thrilled when I saw you doing the speech and, telling stories about your daughter.
Yeah.
So we know that actually the reason that, which pushed you to write this book is because of your love to your daughter.
Well,
so,
it's an honor to be a parent. It's an honor to have a child, and I think it's also a responsibility to try to be a good parent.
Oh, of course, always.
And to inspire and to guide them to their adulthood, where they will be contributing adults. I can say in the whole time my daughter was growing up, she never disappointed me one time. Not one time. It's like a ridiculous kid. And her value system is so wonderful. So I've thought about it for 20 years. I worked hard as a CPA partner in a firm.
Right.
And then I have the time now to write it, so I did it, and it tastes real good. Okay.
So how did your daughter react, to this? Like, you decided to write the book.
I've talked to her about all of these concepts the whole time, the last 20 years. Probably she was 10 when
Really?
I had the idea, 8,
Okay.
and then she's 30 now.
Right.
I think she just thinks, yeah, that's my dad. That's
my dad.
And at the press
Just
conference,
show him.
Yeah, that's just my dad. At the press conference, she didn't say much, but what she did say, if you spend 5 minutes with my dad, you'll know he's passionate about everything he does.
I'm always feeling it from you.
Yeah,
I'm always getting it.
And I say sometimes silly statements, but
No.
I never waste oxygen in my life. Seriously, I never waste oxygen. I'm terminal. You're terminal.
Right.
We're all terminal.
Right.
So we can't have time to waste oxygen or waste time with negative thoughts. So when you focus on the positive gift of life, life itself is the ultimate gift. Okay?
Exactly.
And oxygen's the ultimate possession.
Oh, yeah.
And so I never waste it, and people think you're a little abnormal when you live that way, but if you live that way, you'll have a very fulfilling life, whether it's 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 years.
Exactly. It just, though a lot of times I kept telling myself that I have to take every single breath like it's my last breath, because I never know what's going to happen tomorrow or even in the next minute.
I'm telling you, my oxygen tastes really good.
I know, mine tastes
Okay.
really sweet too.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think this book actually really demonstrates the meaning of life and also the behaviors and the moral behaviors that we should keep doing when we're still alive.
Right.
So thank you again for writing this book, and thank you again for choosing us to represent you.
That is a miracle in my life.
Yeah.
Meeting you all here is a miracle in my life. That is assisting in. We are all bonded in the message, in wanting people to read it, and that's why we work together so beautifully.
Of course, and every single night, actually now, I just start reading your books. Sorry, I'm just getting to be be one of your fans. I have to say that. I have to admit that.
But see, if people just read one word a day, it's not an easy read. There's
100 words.
And it's 5 minutes a word for sure. That's 8 hours of reading. So read 1 or 2 words a day, and in 3 months you've read it. And I promise you, if you do try to, when I sign the books, I always say, please read it, absorb it, and live it. And I do live it. I try to live up to every syllable in here. And it's an honor to try to do that.
Oh, of course. And you gotta, you have to sign one of the copy for me as well.
Absolutely.
I've never even got a chance to get one.
This is my pen. This is what I do.
Okay. Sure. So, before we actually start going to the words, since last time we finished at, loyalty, I want to ask you, among all those 100 words, which one is your most favorite one?
Okay. Number 1 word for me is attitude.
Attitude.
Attitude is everything. I say that in here. And, people, I've met a lot of boring people. I've met a lot of
boring people?
There's a lot of boring people in the world.
Okay.
Because they're not focused on the joy of life.
Right.
And so it's what you believe is really what your life is. And what you believe is your attitude. I believe nothing bad can happen to me because you only die once, and so every negative thing that happens financially, physically, emotionally will pass, and then there's a glory days ahead.
Behind.
So it's all attitude. Your tude is your mood, and I can tell you, I can't remember ever being in a bad mood.
Never in your life?
I don't think so.
Really?
I've had lots of, as I said before, I had 9 years old, I had polio. I'm in one bed for 4 months. I had an 8.5-hour cancer operation. I got a big scar. But they were glorious moments.
Wow.
They were glorious moments.
And look at you, healthy and passionate about what you're doing.
Kids were dying around me.
It's wonderful.
I heard so many parents crying. My parents cried for them, and I got to go home. And I would have been dead in 60 days with my malignant melanoma on my back. I got a beautiful scar and a mastectomy and all that. So that's why I was on the board of the American Cancer Society 6 years.
Okay.
And I hosted a lot of cancer survivor conferences.
Right.
And I had everybody believing that they were going to live eternally.
Wow.
It's all your attitude.
Ken, I think maybe one day you should just write a book about yourself, and how yourself can actually influence other people.
The second, I think, most important word, and that's the only 2 I've really identified, but is accept.
Accept.
So many people live in denial during their life.
Right.
It can't be happening to me. If it's happening to you, it's happening to you. So just accept. I accept everything, including my last breath, which will taste the best of my whole life. I accept that will happen someday. And right now I'm trying to live forever so I can keep sharing this message with wonderful people like you.
Oh, thank you. Actually last night I just read a sentence that I think really kind of affected me somehow. It says that, as soon as we were born, the first second we were born, we never thought about going back alive. So basically, everybody has to die one day.
Yes.
But it just all depends on, what kind of attitude that you have and how you live it.
There's one concept I have in here. It's in many words, but that is, we have people, we have wars, we have evil, we have crime, we have all of these things, and they exist because we don't have. I talk about it under equality. We don't have an equal cherishing of the value of life itself. We can disagree totally on so many things. We can be disgusted with each other because of different how we view. But if I value the existence of your life the same as I value the existence of mine and everybody else, then you never have violence and hatred and evil.
See?
That's it. So life has to be valued.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when people kill each other, they definitely are not valuing the
Valuing
existence of life.
Of life.
That's a very big deal, and that's what I hope for all the time.
Of course, and I totally agree with you on that. You know,
Yeah.
we're not disagreeing with it.
Right.
And
right.
and also, I think it's very important. You know, putting it into another words is that every time when we face any kind of disagreement
Yes.
or arguments, we should actually just put ourselves into the other's shoes.
Absolutely.
And think from their point of view, not only from your point of view.
Right.
And just use your word again, accept. You know,
Yes.
accept that, you know, the other person may have a different opinion,
Yeah.
and accept that he's looking at it from a different angle.
No, you see, because I can accept some dramatically different opinions. I accept that is their opinion. I don't maybe accept that it's worthy or
Right.
of value system, okay? But I have to accept that's their reality.
Exactly.
And so you accept that. That's the only way you can kind of deal with and cope with terrific adversity and
Exactly.
opinions.
And that's, you know, that's why we all want to have a, you know, ideal society, you know, where
Oh,
there's
don't
no war and, you know, no terrorism. But
Right.
even though it's ideal, but we're still looking forward. So, all right, then, you know, why don't we just take a short moment now, and when we come back, we will actually start going deep again into your next words, which
Thank you.
is, I'm not telling them yet. We'll just tell
Right,
them
which is-
after we come back. So stay tuned.